订阅每日英语谈话频道，并仔细观看视频。
There's a moment that almost every Chinese speaker knows. You walk into an English restaurant. The host smiles at you. The server comes over. And they say something in English. And even though you have studied English, even though you know the words, something freezes inside you. Your heart beats a little faster. You look down at the menu, you point at something and hope for the best. I know that moment. I know it very well. And today I want to sit with you for a while and talk about it. Not to judge it. Not to make you feel bad about it. But to help you move through it. To give you the words, the phrases, the confidence, and the stories that will make your next restaurant experience in English feel completely different. Because here is what I want you to know from the very beginning. The discomfort you feel in that moment is not a sign that your English is bad. It is a sign that you care. It is a sign that you want to do this right. And that caring, that wanting to do it right, it's the very thing that is going to carry you forward today. So let us begin. Let us start at the very beginning of a restaurant experience. Before you even sit down, before you look at the menu, before any food arrives, let us talk about walking through the door. When you walk into most English restaurants, especially sit-down restaurants, you will usually be greeted by a host or a hostess. A host or hostess is the person whose job is to welcome guests and show them to their table. This person will often say something like, "Good evening, welcome. Do you have a reservation?" Or they might say, "Hello, how many in your party tonight?" Now let us pause on that phrase for a moment. How many in your party? This confused me the first time I heard it. I thought, party? I am not here for a party. But in this context, party simply means group. How many people are you with? That is all it means. How many in your party means how many people are eating with you tonight. So your answer is simple. Just 2, please. Or there are 4 of us. Or just me. I am dining alone. Dining alone means eating by yourself. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Many people dine alone and it is completely normal. If you do have a reservation, which means you called or went online ahead of time to book a table, you say, "I have a reservation under," and then your name. "I have a reservation under Lee," or "I have a reservation under Chen for 7 o'clock. The host will check their list and show you to your table. If you do not have a reservation, you say, "I do not have a reservation." Is that okay? Or do you have any tables available? Available means open and free to use. Most restaurants will do their best to find you a table, especially if it is not too busy. Now let us think about a real scenario. Imagine you and your friend are visiting London for the first time. You have been walking all day and you're tired and hungry. You pass a restaurant that looks warm and inviting. You look at each other and decide to go in. This is a common, beautiful, spontaneous travel moment. Spontaneous means it happens naturally without planning. You walk in. A host smiles and says, "Good evening. Welcome to our restaurant. How can I help you?" You feel your heart rate go up a little, but you take a breath and you say, "Hello, table for 2, please. We do not have a reservation." The host smiles and says, "Of course, follow me, please." And just like that, you are in. You are seated, you did it. You crossed the first threshold. Threshold means a doorway or the beginning of something new. And it really is that simple. The key is to prepare those first few phrases so that when the moment comes, they come out naturally without you having to think too hard. Now you are seated. The host has given you menus. And now there is a moment of quiet where you look at the menu and you try to figure out what you want. This is actually a beautiful moment if you let it be. It is a chance to explore, to see what this restaurant offers, to try something new. But it can also feel overwhelming if the menu is long or if it has words you do not recognize. Let me help you navigate this moment. When you first get the menu, a server will usually come over fairly quickly to introduce themselves and take your drink order. They might say, "Hi, my name is Sarah, and I will be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you off with some drinks?" Or they might simply say, "What can I get you to drink?" Taking care
Of you is a phrase that means they are responsible for serving you. I will be taking care of you tonight means I am your server for this meal. Can I start you off with some drinks is a very common restaurant phrase. Start you off means to begin your meal, to get things going. They are asking what you want to drink first before you decide on food. Your response options are many. You might say water for me, please. Or I will have a glass of water, thank you. Or could I have a sparkling water? Sparkling water is water with bubbles in it, like carbonated water. Still water is regular water without bubbles. If you're not sure which one you want, just say water, please, and they will usually bring you whichever is the house default. House default means the standard option that the restaurant normally provides. If you want something other than water, you might say, "I will have an orange juice, please." Or could I see the drinks menu? This is a perfectly fine thing to ask. Many restaurants have a separate menu for drinks including soft drinks, cocktails, mocktails, and teas. A mocktail, by the way, is a drink that looks and tastes like a cocktail but has no alcohol. If you do not drink alcohol, you can ask, "What mocktails do you have? Or do you have any non-alcoholic options?" Non-alcoholic means without alcohol. Now let us talk about the menu itself. Different restaurants have different menu structures. But most sit-down restaurants in English-speaking countries follow a similar pattern. First, there are starters. Starters are small dishes that you eat before the main course. They are also called appetizers in American English. Starters and appetizers mean the same thing. Common starters include soup, bread, salad, or small plates of food meant to open your appetite. Open your appetite means to begin to make you feel hungry and ready to eat. Then there is the main course. The main course is the biggest and most important dish of your meal. It usually includes a protein, which means meat, fish, or something like tofu or beans, along with vegetables or other accompaniments. Accompaniments are the side dishes or extras that come with your main dish. Then there are desserts. Desserts are the sweet dishes you eat at the end of your meal. Things like cake, ice cream, pudding, or fresh fruit. Some restaurants also have sides, which are separate dishes you can order to add to your meal. Things like extra vegetables, French fries, or mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are potatoes that have been boiled and then crushed into a soft, smooth texture. When the server comes back after you have had a few minutes with the menu, they will usually ask, "Are you ready to order?" Or "Have you decided what you would like?" If you are ready, you say, "Yes, I think I am ready." Or "Yes, I know what I would like." And then you begin to tell them. Here is the key phrase structure for ordering. "I would like" followed by the dish name. "I would like the grilled salmon, please." Or I will have followed by the dish name. I will have the chicken pasta, please. Both of these are natural and correct. Now here is something important. When you say the name of a dish, try to say it with confidence even if you are not sure how to pronounce it correctly. Most servers are very understanding and will help you if needed. And sometimes you can simply point to the menu and say, "I would like this one, please," pointing with your finger. This is completely acceptable and many people do it. Even native English speakers when they encounter unusual or foreign words on a menu. But let us say you do want to practice saying the dish names. Here are some common ones and how to say them. Risotto is said risotto. It is an Italian rice dish. Bruschetta is said bruschetta, not bruschetta. It is toasted bread with toppings. Gnocchi is said gnocchi. It is Italian potato dumplings. Quinoa is said quinoa. It is a grain. Pho is said pho. It is a Vietnamese noodle soup. Gyro is said yi ro. It is a Greek dish of meat in flatbread. These are just a few examples. The point is not to memorize every pronunciation. The point is to feel comfortable enough to try saying the word and to know that it is okay to ask for help. If you are not sure how to pronounce something, you can say, "Excuse me, how do you pronounce this?" and point to the item on the menu. The server will be happy to tell you. Now let us talk about something that many Chinese speakers find particularly important: dietary needs and food preferences. Dietary means related to what you eat. Many people have specific foods they avoid for health reasons, personal reasons, religious reasons, or cultural reasons. If you do not eat pork, which is very common for many Chinese speakers, you say, "I do not eat pork. Is this dish made with any pork? Or does this contain any pork products?" Products means ingredients made from pork. If you are vegetarian, meaning you do not eat meat, you say, "I'm vegetarian." Are there any vegetarian options? Or is this dish suitable for vegetarians? Suitable means appropriate, right for. If you are vegan, meaning you do not eat any animal products at all, including dairy, eggs, and honey, you say, "I am vegan." Do you have any vegan dishes? Or can this be made vegan? If you have a food allergy, which is a medical reaction to a certain food, this is very important to communicate clearly. You say, "I am allergic to," followed by the food. "I am allergic to shellfish. I'm allergic to nuts. I'm allergic to gluten." Gluten is a protein found in wheat and some other grains. An allergic reaction can be very serious, so please do not be shy about stating your allergy clearly and firmly. You can also say, "Please make sure there is no," followed by the food in my dish. Please make sure there is no shellfish in my dish. Servers take allergy information very seriously and will communicate it to the kitchen. If you simply prefer not to have something, even if you are not allergic, you can say, "Could I have this without the onions, please?" Or could you leave out the cheese? Leave out means to not include. These are perfectly reasonable requests, and most restaurants will accommodate them. Accommodate means to be willing to do what you ask. Let me share a story with you. There was a woman named May who visited Sydney with her sister. They were excited to try a famous seafood restaurant near the harbour. The harbour is the area where boats dock near the sea. May was allergic to prawns, which are a type of small shrimp. But she was nervous about speaking in English, and she did not mention her allergy when ordering. The dish came and it had prawns in it. May had to quietly tell the server, and they immediately took the dish back and prepared a new one without prawns. The server was very kind and apologetic. Apologetic means sorry and expressing regret. But Mai felt embarrassed and regretted not speaking up earlier. The lesson here is clear. Always, always communicate your dietary needs, no matter how nervous you feel. Your health matters more than the discomfort of speaking a few English words. And servers truly appreciate when you tell them clearly. It helps them do their job better. Now let us talk about asking questions about the menu. This is something many people avoid because they think it might be too much trouble or too complicated. But asking questions is actually a sign of genuine interest in the food. And servers love guests who are curious about the dishes. Here are some useful questions you can ask. What would you recommend? This means, what do you think is the best dish? Servers love this question because they can share their favorites. What is your most popular dish? This means, what do the most people order? What comes with this? This means what other foods come alongside this main dish. Is this dish spicy? How spicy is it? This is important if you are sensitive to spice. Is this dish gluten-free? Is this dish dairy-free? How is this cooked? This means what cooking method is used. Is it grilled, fried, baked, or steamed? When you ask a question and the server answers, it is perfectly fine to follow up with another question. So if they say this dish is mildly spicy, you might ask, "Oh, how spicy is mildly?" And they will give you a better idea. This kind of conversation is natural, and it makes the whole experience more personal and enjoyable. Now let us talk about a very common and sometimes confusing restaurant moment. What happens when the food arrives? When the server brings your food, they will usually say, "Here you are," or "Here is your," and then the name of the dish. They might also ask, "Can I get you anything else?" Or "Is there anything else you need right now?" This is your chance to ask for things like more water, extra napkins, hot sauce, or any condiments you want. Condiments are sauces and seasonings that you add to your food, like ketchup, mustard, soy sauce, or chili sauce. "Could I have some extra napkins, please? Could I get some hot sauce? Could I have a little more water?" These are all simple, natural requests. If you discover that something is wrong with your food, this is one of the most uncomfortable moments for many Chinese speakers. We often feel reluctant to complain or to send food back. Reluctant means not wanting to do something, hesitant. But if something is genuinely wrong, you should speak up. Not in an angry way, just calmly and clearly. You might say, "Excuse me, I ordered this without onions, but it seems to have onions in it." Or, "I think this might be slightly undercooked." Undercooked means not cooked enough. Or, "I am sorry, but this is not quite what I expected. Could we possibly sort this out?" Sort this out means to fix the problem, to resolve it. Servers and restaurants want you to be happy with your meal. Sending something back or asking for a correction is completely normal and happens all the time. You're not causing trouble. You are simply communicating what you need. Let us also talk about something that many people wonder about. What do you do if you cannot understand what the server says? This happens. English can be fast. Accents can be strong. Restaurant environments can be noisy. And sometimes words just do not land clearly in your ears. Noisy means full of loud sound. Land clearly means be heard and understood. The most important thing is to not pretend you understood when you did not. Because if you pretend, you might end up with the wrong food or missing information. Instead, use these phrases. "I am sorry. Could you say that again, please?" I didn't quite catch that. Catch in this context means hear and understand. Could you repeat that, please? Could you speak a little more slowly? I want to make sure I understand correctly. These phrases are not embarrassing. They are mature and responsible. Any good server will say it again and will be happy to do so. And if they use a word you do not know, you can say, I am sorry. I'm not familiar with that word. What does that mean? This is an honest and perfectly acceptable thing to say. Now let us talk about the end of the meal. This is another area where many people feel uncertain. When you're finished eating and you want to pay, you need to get the server's attention. In many English-speaking countries, servers do not bring the bill automatically. They wait until you ask. So you need to let them know you are ready. You might catch the server's eye and make a small gesture. Or you might simply say, "Excuse me," when they pass by. Then you say, "Could we have the bill, please?" In British English, bill is the word for the paper showing what you owe. In American English, the same thing is called the check. So "could we have the check, please" is what you would say in America or Canada. Both mean the same thing. When the bill comes, look at it. Take a moment to check that everything looks correct, that the dishes you ordered are listed, that the prices look right, and that there are no extra charges you did not expect. Extra charges are additional amounts of money added to your bill. If something looks wrong, it is okay to ask. "Could you help me understand this charge, please?" A charge is a cost or amount of money owed. Now let us talk about tipping. Tipping means giving extra money to the server beyond the bill amount, as a way of saying thank you for good service. Tipping customs are different in different countries. In the United States and Canada, tipping is expected. The standard tip is between 15 and 20% of the total bill. Percent means out of every 100. So if your bill is $100, a 15% tip would be $15. Not tipping in America or Canada is considered very rude. In the United Kingdom, tipping is appreciated but not as strictly expected. A tip of around 10% is common if the service was good. In Australia, tipping is not as common or expected, but it is always welcome. In many Asian countries, tipping is not customary at all. Customary means the normal thing that people do. So the culture around tipping varies a lot depending on where you are. If you are unsure about tipping in the country you are visiting, a simple guideline is to look at what other people at nearby tables are doing. Or you can ask someone you trust, like your hotel concierge. A concierge is a hotel staff member who helps guests with recommendations and information. When you leave the restaurant, a simple thank you, "Everything was wonderful," or "Thank you, we really enjoyed the meal," goes a very long way. It shows appreciation and leaves a positive impression. And in many cultures, including English-speaking ones, leaving on a warm and grateful note is simply good manners. Let me now tell you about a moment that changed how I think about restaurant English. I once knew a man named Wei. He had been living in England for 3 years. He spoke English every day at work. He was confident in meetings and presentations, but every time he went to a restaurant, he felt small. He always ordered the same thing because it was the one dish he felt confident saying. Chicken and chips. Every time. No matter what the restaurant. No matter what cuisine. One day, his British colleague invited him to a nice restaurant to celebrate a work milestone. A milestone is an important achievement or event. Wei sat down and opened the menu and saw dishes with names he did not recognize and descriptions that confused him. He started to reach for the familiar safe choice: chicken and chips. But then something happened. The server came over and said, "Hi there, are you celebrating anything special tonight?" And Wei said, "Yes, actually a work achievement." And the server smiled and said, "Wonderful. Would you like some recommendations?" And Wei said, "Yes, please." The server spent 5 minutes walking Wei through the menu, explaining each dish, describing the flavors, answering questions. And by the end of that conversation, Wei ordered a dish he had never tried before: a slow roasted lamb shank with roasted vegetables and gravy. Gravy is a sauce made from meat juices. And it was, he told me later, one of the most delicious things he had ever eaten in his life. And what made the difference? He said yes when the server offered help. He let himself be guided. He used the conversation as a learning experience. And he walked out of that restaurant feeling not small, but larger, more open, more capable, more himself. That is what restaurant English can do for you. It is not just about getting food. It is about participating fully in an experience, about connecting with people, about feeling at home in a place that is not your home country. And that feeling is worth every awkward moment, every mispronounced word, every confused second. Let me now give you the clear takeaways from everything we have talked about today. Takeaway 1. Know your opening phrases. When you walk in, you will be asked if you have a reservation and how many in your party. Know these phrases and have your answer ready. Table for 2, please, or I have a reservation under my name. These first words set the tone for your whole experience. Takeaway 2. Order with confidence using simple structures. I would like and I will have are your 2 best friends for ordering. Practice them before you go. Say them out loud at home. I would like the grilled fish, please. I will have the pasta with tomato sauce. Make them automatic. Takeaway 3. Always communicate your dietary needs. Do not be shy. Do not hope for the best. If you do not eat pork, say so. If you are allergic to something, say so clearly and firmly. Your health and your enjoyment of the meal depend on this communication. Takeaway 4. Ask questions about the menu. What do you recommend? What comes with this? Is this spicy? How is this cooked? These questions help you make better choices and they make the experience richer. Servers appreciate curious and engaged diners. Diners are people who are eating at a restaurant. Takeaway 5. Speak up if something is wrong. If your food is not what you ordered, or if something tastes wrong, politely let the server know. Excuse me, I think there might be a small issue with my order. You are not being difficult. You are communicating clearly, which is exactly what good communication is for. Takeaway 6. End gracefully. Ask for the bill by saying, "Could we have the bill, please?" or "Could we have the check?" Check it briefly to make sure everything is correct. Tip appropriately for the country you are in. And leave with a warm thank you. These final moments matter, and they complete the experience beautifully. Now, I want to say one more thing before we close today, and I want you to really hear it. The nervousness you feel in an English restaurant is not your enemy. It is actually your friend. It means you care. It means you are aware. It means you are paying attention. And people who pay attention learn faster than people who do not. Every time you walk into an English restaurant, every time you try to order, every time you ask a question or communicate a dietary need or request the bill, You are practicing. You are building something. You are adding one more brick to the wall of your English confidence. And walls are not built in a day. They are built one brick at a time. Slowly, steadily, patiently. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be present. You need to be willing. You need to be the person who says yes please when the server offers to walk them through the menu. You need to be the person who tries the slow-roasted lamb shank instead of defaulting to the same safe choice every time. Because language learning is not just about grammar and vocabulary. It is about life. It is about showing up in new situations and discovering that you are more capable than you thought. It is about the moment after the meal when you walk out into the evening air and you think, I did that. I communicated, I connected, I enjoyed myself in English. That moment is available to you, it is waiting for you, and everything you learned today is a step toward it. So the next time you walk through the door of an English restaurant, take a breath, smile at the host, and say, table for two, please. We do not have a reservation. You will be seated. You will be handed a menu. You will be asked what you would like to drink. And you will be ready. Because you have prepared. Because you have listened. Because you have cared enough to sit with me today and learn these things. And that is more than enough. That is everything. Go enjoy your meal. Order something new. Ask the server what they recommend. Say thank you when you leave. And come back and tell me how it went. I will be here, and I will be proud of you.